Europe, as you know, one of the six continents of the Earth, although in reality it only means a tiny part of a huge continent called Eurasia. That means Europe is the western peninsula of the giant supercontinent of Eurasia. However, Europe, the second smallest continent, is sometimes described as a peninsula of peninsulas. A peninsula is a piece of land surrounded by water on three sides. That fact becomes Europe as a peninsula of the Eurasian supercontinent and is bordered by the Arctic Ocean to the north, the Atlantic Ocean to the west, and the Mediterranean Black Caspian Sea to the south, and the Ural Mountains and the Caucasus in the east. The origin of his name, we owe him, as many other things in this continent, to the Greeks. In Greek mythology, Europe was a Phoenician woman born in the city of Tyre that, according to the legend, was seduced by the god Zeus, who transformed into a bull, kidnapped her, carrying her on his back to the island of Crete. In this old continent have been the remains of the first humans and have lived great historical civilizations such as the Greek and Roman. This old continent has given the world a great cultural legacy, being the home of great thinkers, writers, philosophers, poets, and scientists such as William Shakespeare, Isaac Newton, Leonardo da Vinci, as well as many others whose works and legacy are still valid today.
What about literature European? The history of European literature and its standard periods can be illuminated by the comparative consideration of different literary languages within European and the relationship of European world literature. The global history of literature from the ancient Near East to the present can be divided into 5 main overlapping stages. European literature emerged from world literature before the birth of Europe. During antiquity, whose classical languages are the heirs to the complex heritage of the Old World. That legacy is later transmitted by Latin to the various vernaculars. The distinctiveness of this process lies in the gradual displacement of Latin by a system of intra-vernacular leadership dominated by the Romance language. An additional unique feature is the globalization of Western Europe's language and characteristic literary form, especially the novel, beginning in the Renaissance. This is due to the reintegration of European literature in world literature, in the creation of the current global literary system. One conclusion is that literary history possesses certain systematicism. Another is that language and literature are not only the product of major historical change, but also its agents. And here are some famous writers, authors, and poets through the history in the literature European. William Shakespeare was an English poet and playwright. Famous plays include Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, and Hamlet. Shakespeare is widely considered the seminal writer of the English language and one of the best authors in all the world. Jonathan Swift, Anglo-Irish writer born in Dublin. Notable works include Gulliver's Travels, A Mother's Proposal, and A Tale of a Tale. Samuel Johnson, British author best known for his compilation of the English Dictionary. Although not the first attempt at the dictionary, it was widely considered to be the most comprehensive, setting the standard for later dictionaries. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, German poet, playwright, and author. Notable works include Faust, Wilhelm Meister's Apprenticeship, and Elective Affinities. Jane Austen, English authors who wrote romantic fiction combined with social realism. Her novels include Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, and Emma. Victor Hugo, French authors and poets. Hugo's novels include Les Misérables and Notre Dame de Paris.
Let's continue with some famous writers, authors, poets through history in literature European. Leo Tolstoy, Russian novelist and moral philosopher. Famous works include the epic novels War and Peace and Anna Karenina. Tolstoy also became an influential philosopher with his brand of Christian pacifism. Fyodor Dostoevsky, Russian novelist, journalist, and philosopher. Notable works include Note from Underground, Crime and Punishment, and The Idiot. Lewis Carroll, Oxford's mathematician and author, famous for Alice in Wonderland, Through the Looking Glass, and poems like The Snark. George Bernard Shaw, Irish playwright and wit. Famous works include Pygmalion, Man and Superman, and Back to the Methuselah. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, British author of historical novels and plays, most famous for his short history about the detective Sherlock Holmes, such as The Hound of the Baskervilles and Scene of Force. Braddix Potter, English conservationist and author of imaginative children's books, such as The Tales of Peter Rabbit. J.R.R. Tolkien, professor of Anglo-Saxon and English at Oxford University. Tolkien wrote the best-selling mythical trilogy, The Lord of the Rings. Other works include The Hobbit and The Silmarillion, and the translation of Beowulf. Vera Brittain, British writer best known for her autobiography, Testament of Youth, sharing her traumatic experience of the First World War. Enid Blyton, British children's writer, known for her series of children's books The Famous Five and The Secret Seven. C.S. Lewis, Irish English author and professor at Oxford University. Lewis is best known for the Chronicles of Narnia, a children's fantasy series, also well known as a Christian apologist.
English language knowledge in European countries. English language knowledge in European countries. Europe has the highest English proficiency in any region of the world. This makes sense. Cosmopolitanism and international collaboration are the characteristics that define modern Europe, and the contemporary globalized world requires that this collaboration be in English. This is the pretension of people who speak English as a mother tongue or foreign language in Each European country, all ages. Ireland, 97.51%. United Kingdom, 94.45%. Malta, 62.39%. Sweden, 53.97%. Denmark, 52.95%. Finland, 45.25%. Cyprus, 43.07%. Austria, 40.64%. Netherlands, 38.46%. Slovenia, 34.37%. Greece, 32.66%. Germany, 31.93%. Luxembourg, 30.72%. Belgium, 28.76%. Latvia, 27.22%. France, 24.21%. Estonia, 23.4%. Lithuania, 20.58%. Poland, 19.85%. Romania, 16.01%. Portugal, 14.87%. Italy, 13.74%. Slovakia, 12.8%. Hungary, 12.43%. Bulgaria, 12.25%. Czech Republic, 11.75%. Spain, 11.7%. How many English-speaking countries are there in Europe? Officially 3. The United Kingdom, the Republic of Ireland, and Malta. All other countries have their own official languages, though in some of them, especially in Northern Europe, people are quite proficient in English.
EPI, English Proficiency Index. Average EPI is 55.96%. The population is 731,817,939 people. Northern Europeans are the best known native English speakers in the world. The countries of Europe with very high domain have some key characteristics. First, they teach English as a foreign language for all students, beginning in elementary school. Second, English classes at all levels are used with communication approach instead of emphasizing grammatical accuracy. And many college courses and graduate programs use English as the language of the institution. Third, citizens of these countries travel a lot and also benefit from daily exposure to English in their workplace and on television, where it is rare that English language programming is dubbed. Facts of Europe. Russia is the largest country in Europe and the world. Europe has been designed as a continent for political reasons. There is no geographical basis for such a thing. Europe is home of more than 731 million people, but their rates are stagnant. Most scholars believe that Europe comes from the name of a Phoenician princess of Greek mythology. The smallest country in Europe is the Vatican, which is considered a separate country from Italy, even though it is within the city limits of Rome. The largest city in Europe is Paris, with a population of just over 11 million people. Europe produces more than 18% of all the oil in the world. The European Union has 25 country members. The first country in Europe to embrace the Industrial Revolution was Great Britain. An estimated 62 million people died in World War II, 2.5% of the world's population at that time.